Welcome guys, I'm Bryce and this is my reptile room. So as you can see, it's a pretty cool room. Simple, I built it myself, but it's where I house all my reptiles. So I just wanted to ask you guys, what should I do for the background for this wall? Because I'm not really liking how it is in the videos. I have some ideas, but let me know what you guys think I should cover this with. And then I just need to add better lighting so I look a lot better in the videos. But as you can see right down here below me, I have changed the floor mats because I had painted it with a waterproofing called bitumen, which is basically rubber, and everything was sticking to it. So it was all dirty, and as you can see in that little corner right over there, it was quite dirty because all the dirt would actually stick onto the rubber and I couldn't get it off. So I found these mats, and they are second-hand. They have been sanitized as well as sprayed down, so they're all reptile safe now, thankfully. So the first reptile I'm going to show you is Splecius. She is a ball python, a normal ball python. She's actually the first snake I ever purchased. She's not the first snake I ever got, but she's the first snake I purchased. I'm not 100% sure of her age, but I've had her for about 4 years now, so that's pretty good. And she has quite a nice little tub enclosure. She doesn't look after it too well because I cover this hide over here with her substrate, and she just pushes all the substrate off of the hide, making it look not as natural with a plastic tub in there. But nevertheless, she enjoys having her hide with her water bowl, and she just all around loves it, and it's awesome. And now she's wanting a kiss. Put her back. She is in this enclosure here, and now we shall get out, let's see, thinking, I think I'm gonna get out my yellow belly. I said yellow belly, but I meant bumblebee. This is my bumblebee female. She is almost 2 years old. She's an awesome morph. A bumblebee is actually a mix between a spider and a pastel. So she's a very nice little bumblebee. Her name's actually Mrs. Thumper because she basically always thumps her food, like thump, thump, thump. And yeah, she's got an awesome little setup. I actually like her setup really. What? How's my English? I really like her setup. It's actually quite nice. But with a few of the setups, I'm wanting to go bioactive, but I can't do this in the racking system because I need lights and stuff like that. Well, never say I can't. I actually can. I'll just need to get different ways of providing lighting for the plants. So this is Stripe, my first hatchling ball python. I actually hatched him myself, so I never bought him. Pretty cool. He can actually be quite grumpy. Like when he's in his enclosure and you try and take him out, he thinks you're going to feed him, so generally he might be a bit more scary for someone else to take him out of the enclosure, but he's pretty fine with me. But once he's out, he's one of the best snakes that I have to handle as a mascot, because everybody loves him. He's got cool coloration, which actually helps people love the snake, and he has a good attitude, and he doesn't spook as easily as the rest of the snakes, because he's quite a confident little chap. And why he's named Stripe is basically because he has this long stripe down his tail, or not his whole tail, but down his back here. And yeah, he also has a stripe across here. I don't know if you can see it now, but that's why he was named Stripe. And he was named that in 2013, and the name just stuck. It's not one of my favorite names, but it just stuck. Now let me switch it up and show you this little hatchling ball python. This girl hasn't got a name, and I've actually decided I'm going to keep her and sell the other one that you'll see in a bit. She's going to be kept. She's growing quite nicely, and now that she's on feed, she is eating like a champ. Beautiful, beautiful little girl, and just an awesome personality. She's actually one of the most curious snakes. Well, definitely the most curious little baby, and she hatched in January this year from my own clutch, which I'm pretty proud of, which is pretty cool, and incubated in my own incubator. So now this is the daddy of that little girl. His name is Yellowbelly. It's kind of a boring name, but we always just called him Yellowbelly, and now that's basically his name. And it's also his morph. So he is the father. And the first snake I showed you was actually the mother. He's also just a cute little guy, but he does tend to go off feed a bit more often than the rest of them. That's why he hasn't grown as much. So I'm not breeding him this year. Why I bred him last year, and that was just basically because I wanted to gain experience. Gain experience on how the animals act when they're breeding, how that works. Not because I want to sell them and make millions. And actually what's really interesting is I've only bought 2 of the snakes that I've showed you. The rest of them have been given to me, traded with some of my hatchlings from my first clutch with the Mojave. His enclosure is also quite simple. Cocoa husk as a substrate and a nice little branch, and he always misses his water bowl. Even though he can't tip it, he still somehow manages to get all the water out of the enclosure. Weirdo. Now this is the second female. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep her actually. I might keep her, I might sell her, but I think I'm gonna keep her. I just don't really like selling the snakes because I want to keep them all. And she's quite feisty, so I'm not gonna move my hands too much. As you can see, she's probably gonna strike at me. Now, look, see there. So I'm not going to talk anymore like that, but she's a feisty little girl, got quite the attitude. She actually has nicer colorations than the other one, but I don't know. Should I keep them? Probably will be. Now, dum 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 is the big girl, my biggest girl. I didn't buy her either, but she's kind of a rescue. So that's super cool. As you can see, she has a bit more of a story to tell. These marks here are from scale rot and stuff like that because of improper care, and she also went off feed for about 8 or more months with the previous owner, but she got back onto feed and now she's chomping away like a champ with me. I've had her for approximately 3 years. I'll have to add an annotation here telling you the exact amount of years. And her enclosure is just on wood chips and a plastic hide and a plastic water bowl. I'm just trying out this new substrate that I've actually created myself. It's a few different substrates that I've mixed. Not so sure if I like it yet, but I'll probably let you know if I do. Okay, so she's on her way into her enclosure without me putting her back. That's great. Now we go down here. Now this is my little leopard gecko. She's still nameless, as you find a lot of my animals are, because I want to kind of find the perfect name for her. But she is actually an animal that I've only had for about 2 months. I actually won her off of a contest, which was super cool. I was so excited and still am so stoked that I won her. She's just got such an amazing personality. Awesome little gecko. She has quite a nice setup here with all these trees, or acting as trees, but they're actually branches and hides. She has a cool hide in the middle of her cage to get that like in between temperature, and then a hotspot hide. She also has a water dish, a food dish, and a calcium dish. I like her setup, although I'm trying to go bioactive now. I'm going to find... What was that? I'm going to find a few places where I can get a few different soils and stuff like that, and plants, and I'm going to try and make a bioactive setup for her. So this is basically a temporary setup in this quite large enclosure for a leopard gecko. The enclosure is about 1 meter long and 50 centimeters deep, so it's more than enough space for her. I'm actually wanting to get maybe 1 or 2 more geckos to put in with her. Females, of course, because she is a female. She's actually a white and yellow red stripe eclipse. She's got awesome colorations. I mean, an amazing tail. I love that little fat tail, and it's got such nice orange colorations. So this station over here is basically my workstation. It's roach chow, water crystals, F10, which is a disinfectant, the tools I often use including a temperature gun, tweezers and a scraper, and a spray bottle to spray stuff for humidity, as well as a scale. So she's the last reptile of my brand new reptile room tour. This has been my first reptile room tour in the new reptile room. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know if I should do more in the future. And I've got some awesome plans. As you can see, that table over there, I am going to make into a chameleon enclosure. And I'm just really working hard on getting this all set up nicely. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Drop a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Please do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be away for the next 2 weeks, so you probably won't see me. I have uploaded 1 video already that is scheduled, but who knows, I might be able to upload something during that 2 weeks. But cheers guys, Bryce from Righteous Reptiles.